In life, we are not rewarded for what we know, but for what we do. And frankly, doing can be hard. Acting can be difficult. Your teacher or your boss asks for a volunteer to spearhead the new project, and you want to raise your hand, jump on the opportunity, but there's something that holds you back, this unexplainable force that keeps you from volunteering. And maybe it's because you're afraid you look stupid, or be rejected, or you're nervous to challenge authority. Maybe you're just lazy, whatever it is. How do we get past that? Past that barrier holding us back from taking action, taking initiative? Let me tell you a true story. When I was in 6th grade, I had a friend, and we'll call her Mia. And Mia was a popular girl. She was loved by all. She had tons of friends. But she started saying stuff like, I hate myself. No one likes me. Everyone hates me. And soon enough, this started to happen. People started to not like her so much because no one wanted to be brought down by that negativity, myself included. One day, we're in history class, and our teacher is talking about ancient Mesopotamia and the agriculture of the Tigris-Euphrates river system, but Mia's not paying attention. She's scribbling some sort of note underneath her desk, almost discreetly, secretively. But after a couple minutes of doing so, she flings it onto the desk, almost hoping someone will see. And some of my classmates did see it, they glanced at what it said, but didn't give it much attention. But when I saw it, what I read shook me to my bones. I read something like this. My life sucks. I'm ugly, I'm mental. I hate myself, everyone hates me. I don't know why I live. I don't want to live. Tonight, I'm going to make your dreams come true. You know who you are. What was I reading? I was reading a suicide note. And what did I need to do? What I did need to do was leave in 5 minutes for an away basketball game. My middle school basketball team was playing our arch rival, Pegasus. I took the note under my desk. I snapped a picture. I sent it to my mom. I said, Mom, I need to go, but I don't want it to be too late. 5 minutes later, I left my basketball game, but I couldn't think about anything but Mia. Finally, when I returned, I got to my mom's car and she said, Ilan, I love you. Mia is safe and in the hands of people that care. Everything's going to be okay. To this day, no one but myself, my parents, and Mia's parents know what happened that day. I acted in a time when no one else did, and it saved a life. Now, acting doesn't have to be so extreme. This past winter break, I was traveling, and me and my friends were walking through a park, and we saw these kids, and they were playing a game. And the game consisted of one of the kids would grab a soccer ball, he'd kick it up into the air, the ball would go up, the ball would go down, and another kid would grab the ball, he'd kick it up into the air, it'd go up, go down, and this sort of continued. And I thought to myself, some game, it's kind of boring. And so I turned to my friend, I said, yo, let's go teach these kids a game. We went through school, we know some games. And he kind of looked at me weirdly and said, why would we do that? No. And I thought he's probably right. Probably not such a great idea. But a couple minutes later, this desire, this urge to help returned. And I turned and I said, come on, it'll be so fun. We'll make their day, it'll be great. And he still said, nah. But at that moment, I decided to go for it. I decided to stop being a spectator of my decision-making and start being an active participant. Too many times did I have the opportunity to act and I passed it on. This time I was going to act. I walked over and I said, yo, who wants to learn a new game? And slowly but surely their arms kind of raised, they kind of started walking towards me. And I said, all right, get in the line. I'm going to choose a game of handball. I said, make your fist like this. You have to hit the ball needs to hit the ground, and then the wall. If it's the wall before the ground, you're out. And we played game after game after game, and the kids had a great time. There were smiles all around. I gave 20 kids a lasting memory, and even my friend, who was doubtful and hesitant, was having a great time by the end of it. What's the worst that can happen? When you're debating between acting and not, action and inaction, deeply meditate on what's the worst that can happen. When I read Mia's note, I knew the worst that could happen. But on the flip side of things, what's the worst that can happen if you do act? When I chose to approach those kids in the park, what was the worst that could have happened? Maybe the 5-year-olds would have said no, given me a weird look, walked away. But so what? I would have done the same. I would have tried, I would have failed, and I would have moved on. I'm never going to see those kids again. The more you think about it, the more you actualize it, what the worst that can happen is, the less power it has. It sometimes almost seems silly. And if the worst that can happen is really all that bad, then maybe we shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Tony Robbins likes to say, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Sometimes in life, we're held back because we want people to like us. We think, what will they think if I do this or if I do that? And we base our actions on the values of others. I nearly did so because I wanted my friends' approval. It's so important to not let ourselves base our actions on the values of others. We unconsciously live in the context of their lives, their ideas, values, and life patterns. And some people struggle to live their life. My friend, he didn't want to approach those kids at the park. I tried to engage him in my adventure, and he opted out. And I almost let myself give in to living in the context of life that he lives. It's so important to not let ourselves adapt the negative life patterns of those around us. Sometimes in life, when we decide to act in our best interest, we're going to lose some friends. They're going to say, you're too out there, that's arrogant, that's selfish. But those aren't real friends, and you don't need those people bringing you down. You tell them, it's my life. But rising from the depths, taking action is tough. So how do we harness our will? Well, oftentimes, we know why we want to act. We understand the reasons behind it. The tough part is just acting. So when you want to act, think about why. But don't just think about it, because thoughts fade. Write it down. Be concrete, be explicit, and be descriptive. Your reasons have power. Oftentimes, they're thoughtful and they're logical. When you have doubt, when your emotional drive fades, when you lose your motivation to push through, your faith becomes weak, your reasons will still be there. They'll be there to support you. Times will get tough. They always do. But when they do, your reasons will be there. When you want to act, don't wait. Let me tell you a story about a guy who knew how to act. Who recognizes this? Maybe you've seen it in Kim Kardashian's recent Instagram post or a friend's pool party. Well, there's a guy, and he saw this, and he thought, I wonder if they had that, but instead of being white and a swan, it was pink and a flamingo. That would look really cool. But instead of just having this thought and letting it fade like most, he acted on it. He looked up inflatable giant pink flamingo, and he saw it didn't exist. So he kept on going. He looked up China manufacturers, and he got on the phone and he said, all right, I want to be this big, how much would it cost, blah, blah, blah. And 6 weeks later, it showed up on his doorstep. He inflated it, he had a pool party, invited all of his friends over, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And now has made absurd amounts of money after creating giantflamingo.com. And now, instead of seeing this, we see this. The more you take action, the easier it becomes. Action is like a muscle. Similar to how someone might work out their biceps, you can exercise your action muscles. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. Think of it like playing a musical instrument, for example, piano. When you first start, it takes a lot of focus and energy to making sure you're hitting all the right notes, playing everything right. But the more you do it, the more you practice, the more you engage in the activity, the easier it becomes. And you start to develop this muscle memory. And you have to focus less, to put less energy. It's the same with action. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. Newton's first law. An object in motion remains in motion unless acted upon by an external force. And likewise, an object at rest remains at rest unless acted upon by an external force. When we want to act, in order to generate momentum, all we need is just a little bit of action. Because once we act, we're into motion. And when we have motion, we have momentum, and from there, we're sailing. When you have an idea, don't let it simply stay an idea. Use that idea to take action, generate momentum, and then use that momentum to drive more action. Baby steps. It doesn't take much. All it takes is one push-up, one sentence of that novel that you want to write. Write a page a day, and by the end of the year, you have 365 pages. That's a published book. When we decide on something, it's very easy to postpone actually doing the action. We say we're going to do it, but then days, weeks, months, even years go by, and it remains uncompleted. Have you ever known you were going to do something, but you just couldn't get up and face it? Or maybe it was up in the air. You didn't know you'd complete it. Say you're at an event, and you see this girl or guy across the room, and you want to go over and approach them. And in here, you know what you want. But your body doesn't oblige. You think it, but you can't do it. So to take that action, there's a very simple trick I like to use. And it goes like this. I want everyone to try it with me. Everyone take one deep breath in. Hold it. Don't let it go. Not yet. Feel the pain in needing that air. All right, now exhale. Now, when you're in a situation when you know you want to act, do that same thing. But instead of simply giving into the exhale, tell yourself that before you take another breath, before you let any air seep out of your lips, you're going to get up and act. However long you can hold your breath for, that is your time. Now, of course, this trick doesn't solve it all because you still need to fit the act in between the inhale and the exhale. But that's where courage comes in. And to muster up that courage, think to the future, once you've already acted, because you're going to feel good. Acting is energizing. Your struggle is going to be worth it. The time you spent holding your breath for longer than you ever have before because you just couldn't approach the woman across the room, the time you spent going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, unsure what to do, is going to be worth it. You're going to walk up to her, and from there, who knows? She could become your wife. Or maybe you walk up, and she walks away. Did you get rejected? Sure, maybe. Does your ego hurt a little bit? Probably. But failures, they're the things that grow us. They teach us what life is about. Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." You see, when we act, we create ripples. We act, life responds. Life gives us data in return. I can stand there aiming at the target all day, and I'm going to have no idea if I'm any closer now than I was 2 hours ago. I should shoot. Even if I miss 100 feet to the left, I'm going to know next time I should shoot a whole lot more to the right. You see, I'm using the word failure, but there really is no failure. It's simply feedback. When we act, trust me, it's going to feel good. When your action is successful, when your initiative works out, we're instilled with a newfound sense of confidence and self-esteem, and it doesn't mean we're not going to receive any more feedback. But what it does mean is that with every upcoming challenge, we're better prepared because we're setting ourselves up for success. So, go out there. Write down your reasons. Generate momentum. Inhale, act, and then exhale. Muster up that courage to take that first step. Create ripples and then receive some feedback. And then reap the benefits of your action. In order to successfully take action, we need to transform thoughts from simply residing in here to taking over here. Move from thoughts to actions, move from thinking to acting. Because if you think, you can act. And you can all think, you can all act. If you think, you can. Thank you.